weekly Toyota Midday Report. Why don't we start with Scott Martin? Has had a big tournament. Said he came to this venue, Mississippi River, outside of Crosse, Wisconsin, came here to win, and he has put together a just delightful campaign throughout the week and really abandoning his primary starting spot, kind of just north of Stoddard, working his way down to the Stoddard area that has been throttled all week long, but making little bait adjustments. Very solid for Scott Martin so far today. Unofficially, just under 15 pounds.
Wow. Wow.
Scott Martin went through another flurry late yesterday around the live mixed transition to our show. So this could bode well for him if he's already at that weight mark on Bass track.
Was kind of surprised at his weight at the day 3 weigh-in.
I thought he might have a little more.
Yes, thought he was going to really be in contention within a couple pounds of Chris Johnston.
That 4-pounder on Bass track ended up being 3.5 instead of a little more.
Right.
Has him a little lower. But Brian New, a guy who honestly started out so strong yesterday, we were shocked at how slow he started this morning.
Yes, Brian New started up in that area that's been receiving so much pressure up by Stoddard and actually getting a favor repaid today. Right about 10 o'clock this morning, Brian New was sitting on 0 fish, went over to Brian Schmidt in that area. He did a lot of damage, catching a very solid limit so far. And just for everybody at home, on day number 1, it was vice versa. Brian Schmidt was not catching them, went to Brian New. Brian New let him in the area, so favor was repaid today.
So you're saying that they work well
yes,
together? They tell each other
working
the truth.
together
okay,
100%. But that favor, Schmidt was the benefactor on day number 1, and obviously Brian New getting a little love back from there. Keith Combs in a very interesting situation right now with Keith Combs starting out in pool number 8. And Ronnie, you were talking about that we might see a little less barge traffic today. That actually has not been the case because there was a barge stuck between 8 and 9 this morning. Kind of held up some of our anglers, and Keith Combs making the judgment call to go down to pool number 9 right now and buy a lot of time getting there. But obviously knowing he's going to need some bigger ones that he has caught in pool 9 this week. Really the story of the morning so far, at least. Brian Schmidt leaving the Stoddard area, going to an area that he fished late on day number 1. Definitely reloading a lot of his work done this morning on a Carolina rig.
Brian Schmidt, our day 1 leader with 17 pounds, 10 ounces, still stands as the biggest limit so far caught in this tournament today.
Yes.
He's one that's dangerous on this body of water, has a port level victory on this fishery, and anytime you have a river-type body of water that is predominantly grass-oriented, Brian Schmidt has to be on your short list of favorites going into the tournament.
Exactly right. All eyes right now on Chris Johnston for sure. Big morning.
Oh, yeah,
Able to find the better than average size smallmouth that he caught on days 1 and days 2. Primarily those days, he caught him on a bladed jig and a Ned rig. That was not the case today. They moved about 100 yards, getting it done with a walking topwater bait from there, transitioning and making bigger upgrades. Every single day, he has been able to do that on better than average, well, almost 4-pound largemouth. You see a good one right there for Chris Johnston. The only thing is there has been a few big missed opportunities for Johnston.
We saw a giant come off in that technique this morning, and let's take it right now live out to Brandon Lester, who has improved his position to start the day, catching him solid just as he has throughout the entire tournament.
Johnston and Lester both still fighting for second place in our Angler of the Year race.
How does that lay out?
If Lester finishes 10th, Johnston's second. If Lester finishes 9th or better, he is second.
Got it.
That can't be a bass. That's got to be a mudfish. No, it's a bass, a giant bass. God, look at that thing. Holy cow. Jeez, that just changed the game a little bit. God, you believe that? Put the rest of my rods up. I'm frogging the rest of the day.
He said that this morning slipping.
Jeez.
He did.
That is a big one for up here.
It's like the biggest fish of the day, though, so I'm
Awesome how that fish missed his frog. A lot of patience right there on that fish catch. Keep your eye on Brandon Lester's frog right here again. Great, great camera work all week long. That is good stuff.
Pops Brandon Lester all the way up into 4th place as
Wow.
it stands right now. He's looking good for that 2nd place finish in the points race.
This will be his 3rd top 5 of the year, too, if he stays in the top 5.
Wow.
1st at Pickwick, 5th at Harris Chain. Oh, my gosh.
Stay on, baby. There we go. Get in here. I knew he wasn't hooked good. Boys and girls, we fixing to catch a bag. They keep biting like that. 3.5.
Put in Bass Track as a 5 even for Brandon Lester.
That is so great. And absolutely getting it too.
Brandon Lester's got by far the best limit of the tournament. At this point right now, he is on a tear.
Gosh, dude. Another giant. Stay on, baby. Gosh, yes! Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Gosh, that's a 3 3/4. Son, that mat right there has got him. White, purple. Wow. My, how quickly things can change.
Was that a real sequence right
How do we-
there?
what just happened?
I'm pinching myself right now. Welcome to the Bassmaster Studios, sponsored by Marathon. And Arizona, we have seen fish catching fabulous all week long, but we have not seen anything like that.
No, definitely. That was one of the best flurries that we've seen with big ones. And if you're kind of looking at the way our last couple hours of Bassmaster Live for the season's going to go, Chris Johnston has made it to the point where a Brian Schmidt or a Keith Combs kind of has to almost catch right now one of the biggest bags of this tournament. Again, we talked about it. Chris Johnston's left a little bit on the table, you know, frog fishing today. I still think Brian Schmidt is a little bit short. He's going to need one more call.
All right. And Ronnie, I misspoke. I said the biggest bag of the tournament, biggest bag of the day at 17 pounds. But it may now be the biggest bag of the tournament.
He's approaching that, yeah. It only needs to be just a couple more ounces to get that done. But yeah, for Brandon Lester, probably a little too far back starting the day in 10th place to be able to catch them with how good the top 3 or 4 anglers in this tournament have caught. But looking at the Bass Track leaderboard, with over 17 pounds for him and everyone else around him having over 14, we have 4, maybe 5, maybe 6 anglers that'll break 60-pound mark this week. Wow. One of the best championship Sundays of catching we've seen, especially for how much pressure these areas have gotten. The Mississippi River, hats off to you. It's produced this week.
Yeah, far outstripped any expectations, to be sure.
Can we just replay that whole thing?
Yeah,
that is
honestly.
It won't take long.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take long.
All of us have been all week long. We're going to get back down to Pool 9. Gerald Swindle, big numbers day. Going to make a couple upgrades, getting away from his bladed jig. Did a little cranking earlier.
Tommy, a 13-pound bag here is pretty solid, and I think Lester has that with 3 fish, the last 3 fish he's caught.
That's in 10 minutes, right? And he's still got a 1.5 pounder on Bass Track.
Eye-popping.
Perfect timing, right?
We opened up Bassmaster Live today saying there were some guys that were frogging throughout the week. Lee Livesey, Jason Christie, who caught them big the last 2 days, but this is by far the best frogging weather we have had this week.
Let's give him 2.5. Now, if it was measuring something else of mine, I wouldn't mind you boosting the score on it.
Yeah. Little Swindle catching steady all day long. Again, a look at our leaderboard. Again, these are unofficial weights right now. It's far from over here. We will not be over and official until we reach weigh-in time, which is coming at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Today in La Crosse, Wisconsin, 3 Central. Chris Johnston hanging on top. Rand Schmidt. Keith comes to look at Brandon Lester. He has joined the battle, that is for sure.